better. Mm-hmm. All right. Do you want to start?
Hi guys. It's a bit weird being on here instead of
introduce yourself.
TikTok, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you don't know if people are watching, if they're not.
Doesn't matter.
It's weird. Anyway, guys, you all know us as YPC. Those who don't know us, I'm Paige.
And I'm Liam.
So we have decided basically just to, we live a very, how would you say it? We're a bit of a cray-cray fan bam. Chaotic. And we thought, why not? We just don't have a lot of times to sit down. We don't know where this is going to take us. We don't know what it's going to look like. But we're like, we just don't have a lot of times that we can sit down and just chat and hang out. And lives get a bit chaotic. Everyone has questions, and it doesn't always mean we're going to answer them.
No.
But we thought, why not get to know us a little bit, and then kind of each week we might just pick a topic, whether it's from us or whether it's from you guys or whatever, and just kind of
roll with it
from there.
But this week we're doing a get to know us. So
yeah.
Paige is going to give us a little bit of a story on her childhood, my childhood, growing up.
No, we're not.
Oh, no?
I'm not going through a childhood.
So where are we going from?
From me and you.
Oh, okay. From
where? There's nothing exciting about my childhood.
Oh. Well, from where we met to where we are now. So do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I was just going to try and get in so that I can see any questions that come through.
No, don't read comments because we're not reading comments today.
Okay.
This is a get to know us, where we come from, how YPC was built and everything like that.
And we'll just upload it as well for anyone who's missed out. But basically, look, everyone kind of knows where we began. I was allowed to go to my first ever party with my 2 cruisers. Liam was a bit of a bad boy. He'd probably been partying long before I was. I was a very naive kid. And we met. We pashed.
I tried to hook her up.
We spewed.
I tried to hook her up with a friend of mine. I was going around asking if any girls would hook up with him, trying to get him his first hookup, and then Paige
cut his grass.
Paige said no to him, and I like the look of Paige, so I said, "Will you hook up with me?" And she was like, "Yep, give me a crack at that." And midway through, we had to pause. I had to turn to the left and give a little vomit. And then, we continued on.
It was love at first sight.
It was love at first sight. She found me.
It really wasn't, guys. He was a scrawny, ab-looking bloke. Skinny bloke. I wouldn't even say bloke. You were an ugly, dweeby-looking teenager. He had a big afro. He had sweatbands on the top of his arms. He had a Bond singlet over a T-shirt, guys. Over the T-shirt. Back in the day where pants were worn around your ass. And
that were the old checker pants too, I think.
I don't know if I was drawn to your looks. Once I got to know you, I was drawn for your love towards your family. He was so kind. And I remember sitting and having breakfast with my friend, and she was getting annoyed with me because I'm like, I don't even know if I've told you this, but I'm like, just what do you think? Like, what? She's like, Paige, stop asking. Like, if you know, I forget we've got the mics on. I'm yelling at the phone.
Yeah, don't yell at the phone. We're right here.
Sorry. I was like, I need to know that I'm making the right choice. She's like, it's not that deep. Like, I'll just hold it.
Yeah, because I don't know if he's coming through it.
She's like, it's not that deep. If you like him, then go out with him. So I chose to, and then I got to know your beautiful, sweet side. And then the looks came up.
Was that with the hours of passion on the basketball courts?
We were that feral, gross couple that spent every lunchtime just macking on, didn't we?
Come up for air.
We did not come up for air. I look back and go, oh my God. Why did no
cringe.
one tell us? But I think lots of people tried to tell us.
Oh, they tried to tell us. But
Yeah, it was pretty gross.
we didn't
Anyway,
care.
fast forward, we went through high school. I graduated for Paige and Liam. Liam was about to get suspended, and I was a goody two shoes and went to the principal's office and begged that Liam be allowed to pass high school, because if he didn't, he wasn't allowed at the formal. And I'm like, well, that won't go with my outfit, so he has to be there.
I didn't get along with many of the teachers at school. It was either my way. I used to dislike it how I said it. I've always been like that. I say it how it is. The teachers didn't like it, so they would send you to this classroom that was the RTC.
That was run by his uncle.
Which was run by my uncle. But yeah, you had to go there, and then you had to get your slip signed by that teacher that sent you there. And I refused to. We had a bad English teacher that we didn't see eye to eye. And yeah, so it got so bad that they were about to suspend me, and before the formal, and Paige begged and pleaded that they sign me off, and so I had to go do everything. She did all my homework for me, any school projects that I
used to
did.
run to my homeroom and sign myself in, and then I'd run to Liam's homeroom, and he had the nicest homeroom teacher. He actually passed away, and we went to his funeral a couple of years after we graduated. And I'd run, and I'm like, he's coming today, I promise he's coming today, please sign him off. Because you couldn't have bad attendance either.
I loved him. Mr. Rowe, his name was. I think it was Andrew Rowe.
I can't remember.
But yeah, Mr. Rowe. He was actually a big supporter of mine. He saw the good in me, and yeah, didn't see the bad in me, did he? Yeah, I loved him as a teacher. He was cool.
But anyway, we graduated in our fluoro orange.
Yeah.
Looking like Danny DeVito, you did.
Yeah. And if you don't know, I'm a twin, so it was hard. My brother went to the formal without me, and yeah, it was hard.
With all the friends. Liam didn't want to come with me. He wanted to get the bus there with all of his friends.
Yeah, they all got a maxi taxi there.
But you got a Ferrari with a hot girl.
Yeah, look,
I think
it didn't match up to the maxi taxi with the friends and getting on a few cordials. But yeah.
Anyway, so
moving from that,
I came out of school always wanting to be a primary school teacher. And then in year 12, I decided I wanted to be a town planner. So signed up to uni, got what I needed. Back then it was OP, got my OP. And I wanted to...
Do you want me to put that on?
No, they can still hear from that.
Yeah, but it'd be voice changing. It's going to be bad for the download.
Yeah, and then I kind of forget what happened when we got out of high school. I think I just wanted a gap year, and I ended up moving out of home, and I was the service manager at Coles, and then I was working at Bunnings, and then I would go to the nightclub, Cocktails and Dreams in Surface, and work my nights there. And Liam was kind of just running amok. I think we had actually broken up for a little while.
Yeah, and I moved into your parents' house.
That's right. I moved out with Liam's sister, and Liam moved into my mum and dad's garage, but we weren't together. And I was just working 3 jobs trying to get through, and I had deferred uni. And then you were just running amok so much that's when kind of Dad spoke to you about the army. You had friends that spoke about the army.
Yeah, well, my brother and my good mate went to the army, and my brother went to the Air Force, and it kind of, once they both left, it was like, oh, well, there's not much.
What?
Yeah.
And Dad's rule was always you study or you work. And Liam was working.
I worked. I worked hard, though.
Debatable.
No, well, Tropicana, I worked
Tropicana,
there.
you worked hard.
I was working split shifts.
Sam's Warehouse.
6 o'clock in the morning. I'd finish at about 12 o'clock. Oh, no, 1 o'clock after the lunch, and then went home for a bit, and then came back until night closing.
Yeah, but I would love your mum to chime in on this, because I have a feeling you didn't hold that job for a long time.
I held it for over 6 months.
Yeah, so you worked hard for 6 months.
for a young kid of my nature,
Yeah, it was a big deal.
I used to skateboard there every morning.
Yeah. And I remember you working Christmas morning and I just cried. Remember that first Christmas day you had to work?
Yeah.
I think that's the only Christmas day you've ever worked. And it was horrendous. But anyway, so he went off to the army and I was left behind and I slept with his jumper and cried my tears into it for months. And actually, we weren't
We were
even
on
together.
No, we broke up.
We had broken up, and Liam went to the army, and I used to spend every weekend on the Sunshine Coast with his sister and his mum. And then we just kind of got back together after you got out of recruits. You were down in Melbourne, and I'm like, can I come for the weekend? Your brother was going to visit you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can I come? And he's like, no, it's a boys' weekend. I'm like, no, it's not. He's taking his girlfriend. And he's like, oh, well, then you can come. And then we got back together and
we've had our
can you
rocky.
take that while I get him?
Yeah, we've had our rocky stages through our life, and yeah, from there we moved up to Brisbane after recruits and my initial training, everything like that.
Well, so when you went into recruits, though, I started hairdressing. That's when my mum was like, right, what are you doing with your life? And I'm like, I want to be a mum. The only thing in life I want to do is be a mum, and being a town planner, I just didn't see how I could be a mum and a town planner. It was such a corporate job, wasn't it? And I just was not corporate.
No.
I did not. I saw myself with nappy bags and thongs, not high heels and whatever. So we moved out. Mum's unit came up for rent in Southport and we moved out into it. Liam was still in recruits. I wasn't getting paid to be a hairdresser because I did mine through where my parents paid for me to go and study to be a hairdresser.
Do you want me to hold him for a bit?
Yeah, I'm just going to take this off. And then I was stacking shelves at Coles till midnight every night just to kind of try and pay our rent. And to this day, I have always said that my biggest regret in life was that we moved out of home at that time because I was studying, Liam was at recruits. I don't know how we ever thought we could survive.
I'll hold him. That makes him comfy. Hey.
Yeah, I don't know how we ever thought we could survive and pay the rent and do everything that was needed. But we did.
Yeah, we managed.
We partied freaking hard all night and we worked hard in the day just to make it happen. Yeah. Anyway, so our first posting was North Brizzy. Enoggera, and that was fun. That's where we kind of made our army family, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we were young, but Liam had so many people that kind of took him under the wing. And back then I was the confident one. So I was the one that Liam's like, you're coming to this whatever it was. He's like, you're coming, right? So that you can do the talking. Like you had no voice, did you?
No.
You were petrified of everyone.
Oh, not petrified. I just didn't like small talk. I didn't mind small talk. It was just the long chats where you're sitting there in the awkward silence trying to come up with something. That's what I don't like.
Liam had kind of lived in the shadow of his brother. In hindsight, I reckon Mark was only confident because he had Liam, because now I reckon yous have completely flipped. Yeah. I reckon you're the more confident one out of the two of you.
Oh, he's confident now too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I reckon the army was the first time Liam had been away from his twin. And I think it took you a while to kind of...
Oh, yes and no. Yeah, I still have confidence though.
I don't remember you being like witty and funny like you are now.
I've always been witty. It's just I've always not really had a voice to say it. I've always... I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, so we did, 3 years there?
Yeah, 3.
And then we went to North Brisbane.
No.
Townsville. Oh, was it Townsville that we did there?
What?
After that?
Yeah.
Ah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So we must have got married. We got married in 2011. And then I remember falling pregnant. That's right. I fell pregnant and I had taken a break from hairdressing and was working for Liam's cousin and found out I was pregnant, and we were kind of guaranteed a back-to-back posting. And then they went, surprise, you're going to Townsville. And I'm like, no, I'm not. There's no chance in hell I'm going to Townsville. I've just fallen pregnant. I need my family.
Just got a good job, good paying job.
I loved my job. I was away from hairdressing and just loved it. And I went to my boss that I had known for like, because Liam's cousin, I was like, he was in charge of me, but then there was a higher boss. And I went to him and I'm like, hi, you don't know me, but can you say how valuable I am to this company and say that I can't leave? Because we were going to go for a compassionate posting. So we were going to say that there's no way I can leave my career and my dream job and blah, blah, blah. And the army was like, off you go.
Yeah, see you in 3 years.
And then we got to Townsville and I sobbed the day I had to leave. Townsville was, for me, the best 3 years.
Yeah.
We were apart for most of it. That was definitely hard. And I had 2 little babies. But I loved Townsville.
Xander was born, and then before we left, Emmy was born.
Yeah, just beforehand.
So yeah, you had your mother's groups.
Yeah.
She would go to mother's groups. We found a friend there that was from high school, so it was a bit more comfortable for her.
Yeah.
And then I was away. I was outfield. I was always doing something, whether it be courses, outfield, or whatever.
I had a really good community with both friends and in the army, like even back at, it was Ipswich, because then we got moved to Ipswich and we had a really, really good network there, like that we made our work family.
No.
And we used to have family dinners every second Thursday on payday. We'd go out to the pub and have dinner together, and we all fell pregnant together. Like it was just a really, really nice vibe.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's there that absolutely killed Liam with the army. You changed.
Yeah, well, I changed a bit, yeah. I had a really shit boss and I had a shit time with him, and it didn't matter what I did. It didn't matter what I did, whether it would be good or bad or whatever. He just didn't like it, and I was always under the radar. And for me, I never stayed under the radar my whole army career, because I was quite outspoken and a bit lippy, as I am. That's just who I am. But yeah, when I got there, it was just a bit much, and having what did we? Yeah, 2 young kids there.
They
It
can't
made
hear you
it.
properly.
Oh, can't they?
I don't know. I just saw a message.
Oh. Yeah, being there, it just kind of, the 2 young kids, I wanted to spend more time with them, more valuable time with them than being away a lot. Like I was on the road a lot, driving here, there and everywhere, and then coming home and then getting shut on all the time. It got a bit much, and yeah, that's where my army career ended.
It affected us a lot at home. Me and you split up through that time, and Liam moved out for a little while. And because Liam was suffering at work, he was then suffering. He was lazy. He was unmotivated. I had 2 young kids where I was working 12-hour hairdressing days, and my mum was coming up to help. And we had a friend actually move in with us, and she was a massive, massive help for me. But it put we just kind of fell out of love.
Yeah.
At that time, I remember just going, I don't even like you. I don't like the look of you. I don't want you here.
That's when you're working late nights too, and then I was up early going to the gym, then going to the gym after work. I was doing a lot of me stuff, and you didn't like it.
It was in a stage of our life where I'm more tired than you, or I do more than you, and I was only talking about this to someone the other day. It kind of took us a lot they're like, what brought you back together? And I said, I think we kind of just let our walls down a little bit. And I acknowledged that whilst I felt like I was doing everything, Liam was going through his own battles. And it wasn't tit for tat. It wasn't, we needed to come back together as a team rather than I'm better than you or I'm doing more than you sort of thing. Hey.
Yeah, and something had to change too. So that's when the career changed, our lifestyle changed, our everything pretty much changed. As soon as I got out, we moved away from the area. We went out to the bush. The kids loved it. We started enjoying it. I started making a bit more money as well, and that helped with
You
driving
worked
truck.
hard. Liam was doing shift work 6 days a week, 12-hour days or more, sometimes more hours plus the travel. But it was probably the first time we all felt really settled was out in the bush, and we had kids growing up on motorbikes, and I don't know, it was just
Insane. Like, it wasn't bush, it was just somewhat acreage living.
yeah, country living compared to
Yeah.
the Gold Coast and Brisbane. And we were talking about this on our live last night. For me, it was the best time of my life. And if the owners, we had approached them to buy, and then we looked at buying with my parents, like a dual living place out there. And it was just, it was the time for us to buy, but we couldn't get into the market. And then COVID hit and we just never ever got into the market. We kind of let that go. And that was a bit of a knockback for us because we had just felt like
We were whole there.
yeah, and we felt like we had worked hard and got to a point where we could finally settle down. And when we couldn't get into the market, we just had setback after setback when it came to finances our whole life. We've never been good with money. I've grown up in a family that's never ever struggled with money, so I just never had a sense of needing to work hard for money, I guess. Well, no, I wouldn't say work hard because we were always taught to work hard.
Yeah,
I was just never
always.
money focused.
No, it was just like, oh yeah, you had money, I could spend it,
I'll spend it.
whatever. Whereas I was the opposite side of the scale where we had no money.
So you
And-
would get money and spend it.
Any chance that I would have any kind of money, it was gone.
Yeah.
It was gone, and I would get what I want, but I'd have to wait for payday, and then that day I got it. But then I'd spend the week or 2 weeks without anything.
And we had loans for motorbikes, loans for cars, loans for everything you could think
Typical
of.
teenager stuff.
Yeah.
But then you add the kids into it as well.
Yeah, and we were just swamped. We were
Yeah.
absolutely swamped. And then COVID came along. We had become really good friends with our neighbour across the road. And when you hear us talk about bonus baby, I guess this was kind of the first place that we started becoming really close to our neighbours and almost too close, in the sense that we were family. We were all one and we spent every waking minute together. But we were kind of, I don't know what the word is, we were kind of not focusing on real life, and we were living in this bubble. And I think that's where I became a lot more anxious and a lot more of a, I don't know, as much as it was the happiest time in my life, it was actually one of the hardest. And that's where I started drinking a lot.
A lot, yes.
I always drank as a partier and to have fun, but never just at home. And I started drinking, and COVID really tipped us over. And I was drinking a lot. I didn't have to work. I was homeschooling.
There was more vodka in her cup than Coke or lemonade or whatever the mixer was. And it wasn't a little cup. It was like a bigger than a schooner cup.
And the more people kind of judged my drinking, the more I was like,
I don't have a problem.
you watch, I'll drink more then.
Yeah.
And so it kind of just spiraled from there, didn't it?
Yeah.
And the kids were kind of like, they were living this amazing life, but we weren't really present, in the sense that Liam definitely was, and I was present. I was with my kids all the time, but I was dealing with my anxiety of the kids and life through alcohol. And for me, I felt like I was more calm on alcohol, but
It was different.
it was
wasn't
different.
you. It wasn't
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
So that put another riff between us, didn't it?
Hmm.
Liam, at one point, one night when I thought I broke my knee, it was the night before Mother's Day, and I walked out. It was Liam's birthday. It was Mother's Day. He was meant to go away on a boys' trip, and I couldn't get out of bed. And I didn't walk out. I managed to get out of bed, and my parents and Liam were sitting on the couch, and they're like, "Right, we need to talk." But that did nothing. I think I then drank for another. Well, I drank until I fell pregnant with him.
You slowed down a little bit, but
Maybe for a little while, and then it kind of picked up again.
It was like bragging rights for you, how much you could drink at the night.
Yeah, it wasn't. But anyway, so then we had the kiddies in school, had Corbin, and Corbin was getting kicked out of daycare after daycare. We were really, really struggling with him, and that's when
You gotta go back.
Hey?
You gotta go back. You've skipped a bit.
What did I skip?
His ankle sepsis.
Oh, yeah. Corbin had his accident, which I think I've spoken about before. But Corbin had... We were all drinking once again. We're all... Christmas, it was 10th of January it happened. So we were still in that Christmas bubble. And all the adults were outside and the kids were riding the motorbikes. And Corbin was 1.5. And he used to sit up on the quad bike all the time because the quads didn't tip. So he would jump up and sit up on it and pretend this little cute toddler with little curly bop hair and pretend to ride it. And this one particular time he came off it and his leg got stuck in between the guard of the engine and the footrest. And I remember saying to Jade, our bonus baby, I said to her brother, I'm like, Seth, he's stuck. Like, what's he crying for? He goes, oh, he's got his leg stuck because we're on the other side. And he said...
So, yeah, he's grabbed him off it.
Yeah, he's like, he's stuck. I'm like, well, just pick him up. Like, thinking... Anyway, so he's ripped him up. And I remember Matt said to us, have you got Bepanthen or something? Just put cream on it, because it looked like a scratch, didn't it? It looked like a red raw scratch. It didn't look to me like a burn. I didn't even know at that point what a burn looked like. And Liam's twin brother was there.
It was white. Yeah, it looked like just how we pulled him up out of the thing. It just pulled the skin back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't.
So we put Bepanthen on it. And my brother-in-law said, and again, I was drinking, I was pouring another drink. Luckily, I think I was only like one in when it had happened. And my brother-in-law's like, Paige, you need to take him to the hospital. I'm like, Mark, it's Christmas. I'm not sitting up at emergency for a scratch. Like, it's just silly. Anyway, we went up. I drove him to the hospital. He screamed the whole way there. And it turned out that Bepanthen was cooking it.
Thank you. I don't know what he's doing.
And
just needs you. Doesn't want me.
And they said he's burnt his leg. So they stuck him in the shower for 20 minutes at the hospital. And they rang the children's hospital and they're like, he needs a silver dressing. He's probably going to need a skin graft. Did you just burp or fart?
No, burp, blast it. Just came up.
He's going to need a skin graft. The children's hospital will contact you in 2 weeks. And we're like, right, okay. So I went home with the worst mum guilt, felt terrible. Then the next day we went out for dinner and Corbin slept.
They said come back if he gets any fevers or anything like that.
Yeah. And he slept that whole dinner, didn't he?
He slept that whole dinner, and then at the end of it, he just started like profusely. Is that the word? Profusely sweating, and
like
he went white as a like shaking. And we're like, shit, we got to go to the hospital. So we took him back to the hospital, and after they told us to come back if he had any present any of that. And they're like, they treated for gastro. It
So
wasn't until...
Well, they put him in an ambulance, remember, and took us up to the children's hospital.
But they didn't want to send you. They didn't
No.
want to do all that. They at the local hospital there, they're like, no, it's gastro. He'll be right. He'll be fine. It wasn't until your mum had said no.
She called Ryan's rule.
Yeah, she called Ryan's rule and said, no, there's more than just... Can't be a coincidence that they've told us to come back and now he is convulsing and all this, and it can't be just gastro out of nowhere.
No. But Liam had gone home and I rang him and I said, look, I think we're going to be here for the night. Like, they're not taking me seriously. Mum's called Ryan's rule, but he's not well, blah, blah, blah. We don't know what's wrong with him. I said, can you just bring me up some clothes? I'm going to be here for the night. Can you leave the kids with the neighbour and bring me some clothes? And in that time, we were about an hour from the hospital. And in that time, I remember they tried to put a catheter in him and I had stepped out because I just couldn't watch it. So my mum was in there and that kind of put him in toxic shock and tipped him over the edge. And I'll never forget, they were walking us through and they're like, oh, we're just going to go to the yellow area. And the nurse is going, oh, there's no beds. We'll go to the green. No beds. We'll go to the whatever. Anyway, in the end, we were in like the room. It was like the red zone. And we were amongst, 40 doctors, nurses.
Yeah. So that's what I walked into.
Liam had turned up with the clothes and apparently my mum went out to warn him and Liam's like, let me the F in. Like, I don't give a shit what I'm walking into. Mum's like, I just want to let you know, because by this time they'd started drilling into his shin because his veins had collapsed. And we were told our baby wasn't going to make it. He died 3 times on that table and we got sat in a room with a top sepsis surgeon from Europe was there. And he said he's not going to make it. He's got about 15% chance of getting through the night. And here we are.
Here we are, yeah.
He had surgeries, he had skin grafts. We lived out of the Ronald McDonald house with 3 kids. And I did not leave that hospital.
It was the toughest moments of our life, that one.
Yeah.
Still haunts us.
Yeah.
Mm.
Aw.
Stop.
You're actually getting emotional. It was horrible. But it's funny. I'm such a heartless bitch when it comes to that stuff. I think as a mum, the emotion, Liam held the emotion. I just held the fight or flight mode. And trust me, I broke down. There were nights where everyone kept saying, you're going to break down, like you won't be able to hold it together the whole time. I'm like, I'm fine. And probably 2 weeks in, I absolutely crumbled. But it's not that I don't have the emotion. It's just that my job was to look after my baby. There was no, you had to leave. You had to, like, it was different. I got to be there with it all.
You saw it from the start to the finish.
Yeah.
I saw it from that moment I walked in. Fuck, it's hard to talk about, to be honest.
I don't know if we've ever really spoken about it. I don't know your point of view.
No, I struggle with hearing it and I struggle with talking with it because it was hard.
Liam struggled with NICU with him, with all the monitors and the beeping.
No, I didn't struggle with him, not at all.
You freaked out, remember?
No, I just wanted to know what was going on. I wanted to know what those noises were and why there were so many different
Remember, though, when
things.
you walked into all the doctors there?
Yeah, that was one day because I had previously experienced a whole lot of doctors in one room with Corbin that it freaked me out. Yes, that moment did, but any other thing it didn't. It's more the Corbin that it haunts me.
Actually, what I found you did more with Zade is you needed to know everything.
Yeah.
And Liam to this day, and I think I've told my mum, but Liam to this day was really mad at my mum
Yeah.
because Mum thought she was doing the right thing by sheltering Liam, whereas Liam just wanted to know everything that was happening.
I don't want to be held back. No one can hold me back. Like, it's, if I want to see my family, I want to see them. And whether he had passed or not, she didn't give me that time. If he had passed, I would never have forgiven her, because it was those seconds that could have counted. And I believe to this day, I walked in there, doctors everywhere. He's laying flat on the bed with shit all over him, and people were trying to stop me to go. I just wanted to talk to him. I wanted to see his face while he was like still aware, but I just spoke to him.
I remember you going straight to him.
And I believe, I don't know, I don't believe much, but I believe he heard me, and that's how we got through.
Whereas I had been talking to him, but I think when you came in and took over, I just remember talking to they kept saying, have you got any question? All I remember was like, you're underwater and people are above water talking to you, yelling at you to get out of the pool or whatever. That's the muffling I remember. And I just remember people around me, counsellors and doctors, and they're going, have you got any questions? Yeah, is my baby going to be okay? We can't answer that.
Tell us the only question we want to know.
No one could answer it. And I was so mad. I'm like, just tell me my baby's going to be okay. Yeah. And they couldn't. And to this day, we don't know how he survived it.
But the whole hospital didn't know. We would be walking here. So we ended up out of ICU, went into a ward where he then had a skin graft on his leg. And then a cord, the suction cord.
Like a vacuum.
Yeah, vacuum. So we'd put that in a backpack and he'd ride his little trike around the
hospital. And we used to have doctors nearly every day he was the talk of the whole hospital.
They would stop us and go, is this the little boy that
should be dead? He should not be here. They could not believe that he had survived it. Like, there was not one person that had faith in him to come through. And I remember wanting to send it through to the Wiggles because the only thing we played while he was in a coma in the middle of an ICU ward was just Wiggles, remember?
Yeah, he loved
over
Wiggles.
and over and over. And the minute he woke up, he was listening to the Wiggles. But he's here. And a lot of people, I think in one way, like a lot of the time the kids have felt like Corbin was always priority, or, but from that, we believe that that's possibly where Corbin's autism and stuff came from, because he had obviously lost brain function multiple times.
Lost air
to everything.
Yeah.
And so we've always kind of
not giving him leeway, not so much leeway, but just exceptions sort of thing to everything.
We've just appreciated every minute with him. So we're kind of, I guess that a lot of people will say with autism, there's a lot of behavioral issues. There's no denying that. Anyone who heard Xander's outburst last night knows that there's behavioral issues involved with autism, but there's also a lot that needs patience and guidance. And Corbin taught us patience. He taught us frustration.
Still learning.
And he taught us feelings that we've never, ever felt, but he's definitely taught us patience and how to just stop and slow down. I was a yeller. Like, I was that person that would wake up screaming. And I remember in Ipswich when we were posted there, I had the grandmother who would be home with the neighbour's daughter every day. And I remember she came to get her hair done and she put her hand on my shoulder and goes, are you okay? Like, are you actually okay at the moment? And I'm like, why? She's like, because you just don't seem it. And it's because I was just a screamer. I just thought I had to scream to get through to the kids. But Corbin taught us that screaming doesn't get us anywhere. It just lets out my anger more than anything. So, but yeah, I think we were only talking about it yesterday about friendships and stuff. Like, we aren't good friends, I'm going to say.
No, we're good friends.
we take people in wholeheartedly, but we take in the kids more than the adults.
Yeah.
Whenever we've met someone, we've always thrown ourselves in deep with our neighbors because we are homebodies and we crave that friendship. So we go deep with our neighbors because we're like, that's easy. They're right there. But when I say we're not good friends, we're not good friends at taking time out of family time to be friends.
Yeah. If you fit into our life, then it's easy for us to maintain a relationship. But if you don't fit into our life or our routine, it just doesn't. Like, it's hard, and then they get sick of it
And I think our
and
kids
move on.
definitely play a big part in it.
Yeah. So if the kids start not getting along, which everyone would have in their life, the kids don't get along with other kids, and it's kind of drift apart, and there's tension there. And obviously, you take your own kid's word over other kids.
But
So
we also
it
don't
brings
deny the fact that
tension.
our kids are hard.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to be around that and they don't like the way we parent. And I'm not a helicopter mum. You've probably noticed that between me and Ree, but I'm not a helicopter mum. And I am very much, my mum calls my kids free range chickens because I'm very much, my babies grew up on the property in their nappies, playing with our pet goats and riding motorbikes. And I'm just really about kids being kids. But unfortunately, things keep happening to us where little accidents happen. And it's like someone's looking out for us and we need to take that on, don't we? So I guess, I don't know, I feel like I'm more anxious. This time round, I say I'm not a helicopter mum, but I am the most anxious, like first time mum all over again with Zade. I don't know how to parent.
Yeah.
I'm anxious about his breathing, his sleeping, his poos, his wheeze, his everything.
It was different too from being a mum where you take a baby home with you to a NICU mum where you've got to visit the hospital and it's a lot more different. And there's
Yeah.
things that you probably didn't know that have changed since Corbin was born.
Yeah. So in between Corbin and so many people ask us about, will we have other babies? Will we, what happened with Zade, blah, blah, blah. Corbin was born at 40 weeks and I went in at 37 weeks in pain. They said you're contracting, but you're not in active labor. Long story short, my uterus was rupturing. So we got in for my cesarean, a planned cesarean, and it took them 3 hours to stitch me up because my uterus kept ripping. They said it was just cling wrap. So I was told not to have another baby as they stitched me up. And then at my 6-week appointment, they were like, look, you could have another baby, but it would be, whoa, that was a big fluffy. It would be very high risk and you would have to have it early. So we kind of never avoided a pregnancy, but we never tried for a pregnancy. And we lost multiple pregnancies. So my body kept falling pregnant, but couldn't hold it longer than sometimes not even a week.
We probably couldn't even count on two hands
how many times we got a
miscarriages,
positive test. And to the point where Liam was like, yeah, cool story, bro. Like I would tell him that I was pregnant and he's like, oh yeah. Like, and that was the end of that. There was no conversation about me being pregnant. There was nothing. And then Zade, something was just different. I remember sitting on the toilet peeing on the stick and I was on the phone to you while I was doing it. And I'm like, I'm pregnant. He's like, oh yeah, cool. And then I peed on a stick the next time I weed, then the next time I weed. And like, I still have all the pregnancy tests upstairs. And I remember telling Ree was the next person I told. And I'm like, this is it. This is it. Like this one's going to stick. And Liam's like, no, it's not. And I'm like, I just feel different. So anyway, we got through the first 12 weeks and all of you knew I was going through gallbladder problems at the time. So it was already, can you hold this? I'm just going to quickly. So it was already a tricky time because I'd had a CT scan and stuff. And
Do you want a cloth or you're right?
no, it's all right. I can hide it all. And he stuck, but it was very, very high risk. So what had happened was the last time you guys had heard was I was struggling and possibly needed to go on bed rest. I went in for a scan and they had seen that my uterus was rupturing a lot more. And they said, you're not going home. So I went up to the ward. I rang Liam and I'm like, can you bring me stuff in?
I plan to stay for 2 weeks. Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, because I was 32 weeks. No, I was 32 weeks and they said you're staying till I was booked in at 37.
Yeah.
And then the doctor said, you are not going past 34 weeks. So we're like, shit, like I've got to be here for 2 weeks. How am I going to work? How are we going to make money? We went into panic mode. The following day I woke up and I was on live with you. And I was sitting with everyone completely fine. And then I said to Liam, and I think I said it on live, I'm like, I don't feel good. Like I'm in a fair bit of pain. So I got off live, rang my mum and I was like, can you go and sit with the kids while Liam comes? Like, I feel like tonight might be the night. She's like, Paige, we're not going through this every night. Like you've been in pain for 2 weeks. We can't all keep dropping everything for you to just be in pain. And that sounds really bad saying it out loud. That's not what she was meaning. She was kind of just like, let's just see where the night takes us. So they gave me endone, they gave me Panadol, they gave me Nurofen, and it was not even touching the side. So Liam came in, and that's when they decided to take him out. We got into the surgery. You were a mess.
Yeah.
You had gone downstairs, I hear, and
oh yeah, I was freaking out.
Before it.
Yeah.
Because it was a very, very dangerous surgery. We didn't know what was going to happen. And when they opened me up, I was so scarred and damaged inside that they had to pack me.
Damaged goods.
Damaged goods. They packed me and they left me laying on the table while they called in another surgeon to drive into the hospital.
Yeah, they were just casually talking, and then we're like,
we kept saying, are you nearly there? Like,
yeah,
are you nearly at
what's going on? And they're like, oh, we've had to ring another surgeon, bring him in. They've had to wake him up and get him in.
So we just laid there like all chatting, like I wasn't cut open on a table. And they finally, so they had cut across and realized they weren't going to reach him because my bladder was seized to everything. So they had to cut up. And they managed to get him out. And that's when we knew Liam. We knew straight away Liam was going to go with him to special care or to NICU. And the plan was to tie remove my tubes or whatever they do, but they couldn't access one of the tubes because it was seized to everything as well. So the risk was that I was going to lose my bladder. But they managed to keep my bladder and they removed one tube and severed the other side. So there's no way I can get pregnant. But halfway through that, my epidural wore off. So I started screaming the place down. And thank God Liam wasn't there anymore because you would have probably not coped with that.
No.
So they put me to sleep. And that's the last I remember. So the answer is no, we will not have any more kids. We cannot have any more kids. It's really, really, really dangerous if I was to fall pregnant again. So that is not our plan.
So the tubes are gone.
Hopefully. Well, they took one and said that the other. We just got to hope that.
Oh, so there's a chance.
Well, no, not really.
Oh,
I'm damaged goods. I'm very damaged goods.
You're well damaged goods.
But Zade was just meant to be here. He hung on.
Yeah, he hung on. Yeah. So what about how YPC started then? Could you kind of skip through that?
Yeah, well, I just was like skipping the story because I felt like we were.
So that's how all the kids have come along?
Well, I was hairdressing and hating it. And I'd literally been talking to clients about new jobs and who could get me a job.
From moving out from Acreage to here to the
That's
coast.
right. I think we were talking about
We upped
special
our
needs.
we upped our whole life from out where we were out at Jimboomba to here on the coast, and it was a rough time with the kids, like school refusals, trying to make friends, all that,
Changing of schools.
And then Page's job. Obviously, she had to pick up more work as well.
Everywhere I moved in the army, I obviously had to take my hairdressing business and start again. And then we came here, and I've always been able to pick up work. Like I've always
had your regulars that came from out there.
Yeah, so many of my clients followed me from out there. And one thing I will say, totally up myself, I was a good hairdresser. Yeah, I was a really good hairdresser, and my clients followed me and came here. But it just got really hard. We moved here to be able to give the boys more opportunities, more therapies, better schools. And it turned into Xander refusing school for nearly 2 years, threatening lots of things that it's been horrific. And I just fell out of love with the job as well. And you were getting tired of being in trucks, weren't you?
Yeah, but you
wanted to be the sport dad.
Yeah, I wanted to be a stay-at-home dad. I've always wanted to be a stay-at-home dad, but never was. So, yeah, and then everything Paige has done in her life, I've always supported.
Always.
She done courses through hairdressing, extensions. She did eyelashes. What other, like, she had a little business where she would make baby clothes, headbands, import little shoes, moccasins for them. She's done lots.
I've always done some sort of crafting or something on the side, haven't I?
Yeah, you have, and I've always supported her. It doesn't matter what you do. I'm like, yeah, go for it. And then, yeah, she brought up this cup thing because she was overworked and her back was sore. Her carpet tunnel was kicking in on her hand again. So she wanted to do these glittery cups that I'd never, ever heard of. Mind you, I supported her, but I had a massive doubt. I was like, what the fuck?
I was getting drunk most nights and buying wraps. That's where it started, remember?
Yeah.
I was like, I want that wrap and I want that wrap.
To go to everyone and get wraps and cups. And
we did some markets.
Yes,
which you loved. We loved doing markets. We never made a profit.
No, there was no money in the markets that we had done. But yeah.
But we had fun just sitting there. Liam would try and sell Taylor Swift cups to 80-year-olds, and you just got to talk shit.
I got to talk shit. It was in real life. It was good.
It was good. But I was still doing like 12, 13-hour hairdressing days, and then I would jump off and I would come and get on live at about 9 o'clock, and I'd work till like after midnight. And I remember
you had to wait till the kids went to bed, and everyone had to be silent. No one could say a thing, and
yeah, we were very like put together. I was at the dining table, and I would come upstairs at like 1 o'clock, and Liam would wake up because he would leave for the trucks at 1 a.m. and he'd be like, "How did you go?" I'm like, "I sold a cup, or I sold 2 cups, or I sold 3 cups." And like on our big nights, I'd be like, "Oh my God, we made like this much money." And then I'd sleep for a few hours and get up and hairdress again. And then it got big enough that I was able to, I don't think it actually got big enough. I was just like, my brain was always
overwhelming. Yeah.
It was always in the other business. And I could see that it was, I was calling up sick to clients. She
would move clients. She'd do anything to not
get
hairdress and work doing glittery cups.
Yeah, glittery cups.
Or sublimation cups. And
and clients would be like, "I don't get it." And I'm like, "I make cups."
I still didn't get it at this point.
No, he had no idea.
I don't know how. I would go to work and I would talk to people going, my wife's doing cups now, like drinkware. And they're like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." I said, "Yeah." Somehow she is selling these cups to women online that I'm like, women are crazy. They just buy whatever they want, however much. Like, and I think it was April actually. I'm like, how the hell is someone buying so many cups
April
And-
was spending hundreds.
Oh,
I'm not going to out April,
yeah.
but she was paying my wage.
Thank you, April. We love you.
And we were like, we don't get it. And even when I think I told family, and like right up until recently when we went to that Christmas party last year,
Yeah.
and the family's like, so you're telling me Liam took a month off work in November, because that's when we started doing the clothes, and I was doing the cups as well, and I was doing all of it.
And it was chaos.
It was just growing.
It was big for her.
And everyone will say to us, what are your tips? How did you get there? We don't know. We don't know what we did. We don't know what got us in the algorithm. We don't know what you guys like about us. We know what everyone hates about us.
You did have one video that went viral.
Yeah, the dumbest video.
But it's not dumb. If it works, it works. If it works, it's not dumb.
Well, and that's what I say to people. If you want to get on TikTok, film your life. I used to film myself making T-shirts, packing orders. Remember, like, at the beginning, orders would be sent to the wrong people all the time. And like, I didn't have a system. I didn't have a plan because it wasn't meant to take off that quick. I knew nothing about business, even though I'd ran a business for 12 years. I knew nothing about business. And
like
so,
a little hobby sort of thing.
This thing just blew up. I didn't know. I'd never, ever been to a post office and sent a parcel, or I remember taking my first cup in for April and to the post office, and the ladies are like, so you need to send this to here. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, okay, well, it needs to go in a box. And should we put some bubble? I think we packed boxes around the cup. Anyway, then I went in with 2 parcels the next day, and then
you used to do it with, you used to pretty it up.
I made it so pretty, but everything would break.
Yeah.
Like, I was so naive, wasn't I?
Yeah, we put cards in it. You put all this. You'd wrap it nice and neat, and
I remember the post ladies
effort and so much money into making it look good to get there, and then bam, it was broken.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
I felt like Matilda in the movie, where Matilda goes to the library and she's never read a book before and she's never like been out in the real world. That's how I was turning up to the post office each day. And the ladies, it wasn't even a post office, it's a news agents where they just do post at the back.
Yeah.
And the ladies are like, right, we need to know what's in these boxes. And then that's when it just got bigger, and we went to the main post office, and we were taking so much in that they're like, someone can come to the house and pick this up. And we're like, oh, okay.
They're like, yeah, it's got to be 10 or more a day for them to pick up. And we're like, oh yeah, we can kind of make that work.
Yeah.
I guess maybe every so often. But yeah.
So anyway, in November, Liam goes, I'm done. I need a break. So he had all this leave, and we're like, well, I don't want you to take the leave before the baby comes. Like, I want you to have that leave after the baby comes. I need you then. And
I started enjoying pressing clothes.
Yeah.
I started enjoying working from home. I started enjoying it and talking to the people on camera.
Your confidence grew on camera.
Yeah, and it got enjoyable. Like, I liked it and I enjoyed it, and the passion for driving for me was not there.
Yeah.
I dreaded getting up. I used to have a passion for driving. I enjoyed getting up early in the morning and going and talking to people at work, and enjoy driving, to the point where I just didn't have that passion anymore. The passion was in the clothing. So we wanted to grow that more as well.
And I guess because we've both got jobs behind us, we're like, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
We do this for a month and we go back to our jobs. I don't want to hairdress anymore. He doesn't want to drive anymore, but we'll 100% do it to pay our bills.
But we also got to throw 100% into this.
Let's just see where it takes us. We're now in April. It's been a struggle through me being in hospital. You guys like Liam and you like us, but you seem to love us together. So I thought, it's fine. I've got Liam working for me now. He can run the business. But the orders didn't come in like we thought they would.
I can't make the cuts like you can.
Stuff,
I can't do the subs like you can. Like, we still had the clothing come in, but it wasn't enough.
And we're being super transparent here, but like, people would say, how can we support you? And we're like, please just buy something. Like, that's how you can support us. Because being both sole traders, we don't get Centrelink, we don't get any handouts from anywhere. So we were relying just on this.
On the business, yeah.
And we'd put all of our eggs in one basket without realising that I'd be living in hospital for 4 weeks, or Liam would be trying to run the show with 3 kids at home and all of their needs and therapies and sports, as well as running a business. So I reckon in the last 2 weeks we've got back on top.
Yeah.
We hadn't paid our rent in 3 weeks. And the reason I'm saying all of this, guys, is because I think you guys watch us and you see our orders come in and you think they're killing it.
Their life's easy, you always see the good side of people on here, and you're like, wow, they're doing all right. They got people, getting orders, they're getting orders out, they're living comfortably, but yeah, we weren't.
We weren't, because we have put all of our eggs in one basket. You've got to think we're getting orders out, but we aren't even drawing a wage from our business. And we've got 2 of us that need to draw a wage. We're not paying super. We're paying our tax, we pay tax out of what we're making. This will be the first full year that we get to see how much tax, how much, how this all works. And all the trolls are going to be like, cut bogans, they can't even pay their bills on it, blah, blah, blah. They've got to do wrap sales to pay their bills.
But yes, you're right. We do. We pay our bills.
The same way as everyone else goes to work to pay their bills. But what this is for us is a much bigger picture. Behind the scenes, we are doing hours upon hours that nobody sees. We are raising a newborn and running off 5 hours sleep, and I'm feeding through those 5 hours, because we have so much going on behind the scenes that we want to grow this. We're not going to be a cup business, but we're not going to forget where we've come from either.
We don't have a backing. We do this with our own money. We don't have loans for the business. Or
my mum was here yesterday, and I'm like, oi, you got a credit card floating around?
Yeah. So whatever we get from selling our stuff, and this is from the beginning, we started with my wage and Paige's wage buying cups, to now it going back into the business. Whatever we sell goes back into the business.
And guys, one bit of advice I reckon I can give, and I was saying this to Ree yesterday, and this is nothing on anyone, so please don't come for us and go, you're attacking us. What I'm seeing a lot is a lot of people now, instead of just starting from the bottom, making snow globes, for instance, there's walls of glitter behind them. There's piles of wraps in front of them. There's cup after cup on shelves behind them. You can't start from 50 followers to then getting 500 followers to go live and then just expect to sell out of glitter or sell out of wraps and make money.
When you've got such a big stock of everything. It's good to have a big stock.
But you've got to start small. I used to buy 10 snow globes, and it was from another business in out near Ipswich. And I would get my cups within 2 days. So I'd get my 10 snow globes. We'd all sit on live together. And once I'd sold out of those 10 snow globes, I'd buy 10 sublimation drink bottles. We'd sell out of the 10 drink bottles. And that's how we started. And the money we invested in the beginning was insane. And we were in the minus. I think we're still probably in the minus. Every cent you make in this business goes back into the business. So
otherwise, you're not moving forward. You're not growing. No. You'll just stick in limbo at that point, and you can't be in limbo with the cups and the clothing, because there is so much out there that you just can't be limbo. You got to keep growing and growing.
So my advice, honestly, is just start small. Because everyone can watch the bigger creators and go, I want to be like that. I want to do that, which is amazing. And if you strive to be like that, then that is amazing. But you're not going to get there overnight. You're just not. How long have we done?
65 minutes.
Holy shit. All right, we're going to end it there. We didn't want to bore you. Holy shit. If anyone's rewatching this or if you've stuck through the whole time, kudos to you guys. But at least once it's uploaded, you can just fast forward through it all. But anyway, oh, baby. So sorry if all of that was boring. We just wanted to kind of look, the thing that I'm still learning, and like when people buy us coffees or with all the presents that we've been sent for Zade, and what I'm learning is that whilst I have no confidence in myself, and I don't make it a secret that I lack confidence, I'm a very, very anxious person. When I have little SPAC attacks like I did last night, it's over a build-up of constant messages and comments and trolls that just like get you to the point where you crack it. And I did not sleep last night, not one wink, because my anxiety, I woke up with the most clenched jaw because my anxiety over what I said or how I said it, or did I not say it properly, or did in my brain I had what I wanted to say, but I didn't get out what I wanted to say. Like that's how my brain works over and over. And when it comes to people gifting or sending us stuff, I don't know how to accept it. But what we need
We love the gifts.
We are so
And
grateful.
the coffees.
We are so grateful, but I don't know the right way to accept it. And so
I'll say thank you for both of us. So anyone that sent anything, we thank you very much.
I thank everyone.
I know you do, but you get awkward when you
I
thank
do
someone,
get very awkward.
whereas I'm just like, oh, that's cool.
Because I don't, when I say thank you to someone, deep down, I'm so, so grateful. Then there's the other side where other people are judging you because you're getting given stuff. So you don't want to be like over thankful because like Corbin joking about give me a galaxy, then we're getting judged because I'm making my kids ask for galaxies. And then you've got the other side, like you're just constantly aware of all these different people. And we're like little micro, no one knows about us except for this cut world. And so if we grow, what I'm trying to remember is that something has led you guys to watch us, and I just have to go with it. And I have to block out the haters, and I just have to be.
The haters are always going to be there.
They're always, and they're only going to get worse, aren't they?
Yeah, the haters are always going to be there, and everyone gets haters. There's negativity in people's life that they just like to put it on other people.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. Let them. I think let them.
Look, Liam's going to forever get me into trouble because that's just the person he is. He has no thought process about the future. He's just like, right in this point in time, I want to be a dickhead. Yeah. And I'm going to be a smart ass and I'm going to post that video and I don't care what comes.
I don't even edit it. I literally do it as I do it. Like you get the raw version of me with no edits, no filters, nothing. And that's just what it is. I like to take the piss. I like to have a joke. At the end of the day, there's no malice in it. There's nothing. But if you want to take it as offensive or something else, then that's on you. That's not on me. That's on you as a person. So yeah, I'll leave it at that.
And Reddit this morning was YPC thinking they're like top shit and they're, better than everyone else. Trust me, I do not think I am better than anybody. I am so scared to put myself out there because I don't do judgment well. Like I said last night, I'm a girl. I bitch. I whinge. I have opinions, but I don't publicly put that out anywhere because why would you? Like, I'm not there to be a bitch to other creators or other people or other businesses.
No.
So I'm sorry if you think that we think we're above everyone else, but we are honestly, someone could open a business tomorrow and we are learning as much as they are. Liam goes around into lives just to kind of, because it puts a smile on people's faces and makes their day. But we're nobody. We are nobody. We have just by fluke had this business take off, and we are just riding by each day with no idea where tomorrow's going to take us.
Yeah, we're riding the wave, and wherever the wave takes us, who knows?
I could be back hairdressing tomorrow, and will I sit there and go, wow, we fucked up, we had no idea?
We'll
no
look
way.
back and go, that was a good time.
That was a great time. We got these times together. Yeah. We got through a time where I was in hospital. If Liam was still working, I cannot imagine leaving my baby in hospital and coming home and parenting and just ducking in during school hours. Nor could I even do it because I had had a cesarean. So for me, like Liam said before, we don't believe in anything, but I believe that this was given to us at a time where we really, really needed it. And if it's nothing else, then it was good timing, and I got to be at home with my baby, and so did Liam. So,
but going back to you don't think that you're better than anyone else. I don't want to come across rude, but you do want to think you're better than everyone else, because how do you succeed in life if you're not trying to be better than anyone or better than yourself?
You always want to aspire to be. I remember sitting there on
want to be better.
Yeah. And I remember sitting there on my first live going, oh my God, can you imagine like if I was a business and if people like bought from me and knew who I was, and we're slowly getting to there, and it's still so, so surreal.
Yeah.
But our plan moving forward is we want to remain humble always. So we're never going to be, this is hypothetically, we could be a multi-million-dollar company and we will still be there sweating our asses off doing the work.
We'll still work because it's in our DNA. Paige likes to do the hard yards and I like to talk shit. So whether I'd be in the warehouse talking shit, packing orders, Paige will be there by my side packing orders too. Or doing something. Like, we might not do the bookwork, but we'll be packing.
Yeah.
We'll do the packing.
And do we aspire to one day have a clothing line and a warehouse or a shed or whatever? 100%.
If you don't, then what are you doing?
If you don't have goals, then what's the point?
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to wake up and just go, another day. Let's just see what we do.
Let's stay in limbo.
The point is to pay our bills and to work, is it not? Like, is that not why everyone goes to work?
It's the Australian dream to be comfortable, not have to do much, and earn $1 squillion while doing it. Like, who does not want that?
And everyone who judges that would be lying if they didn't aspire to win lotto or to, to live the dream of money, but you know, to have the money. And I was going to say, but not work hard. That's not where we're at. We want to work hard forever. You've got to
work hard for it. Nothing comes easy in this life.
No. So anyway, that's us. We are not going to do this every week. It's going to be...
We will have a topic through the comments or something for the subscribers. So we want to give back to you guys for following us, for following our journey. So we might set up a subscriber only video where you can write what your questions are. We'll answer them. We might even do a question thing.
Yeah.
Question box.
But what I mean is we're not going to sit here for an hour every week. It's going to be like a 30 to 45 minute thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
We didn't want to bore you to tears, so we're so sorry.
This is our first one. We're getting used to it. We wanted you guys to know where we come from, who we are.
We're not just stuck up
our family.
Assholes that sit on live and make lots of money.
Yeah.
That's not what we want you to think of us. That's not us. We will always
see a different side to us.
Yeah, and we want to be real.
We're raw and unedited.
I don't even know how to edit. So do you just press post and this will go on?
Yeah.
Good. Because I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know either, but we are navigating this life together, guys. Navigating through this together. So we'll finish it there. Thank you for everyone that's watched.
Wrap sale tonight, guys.
Oh, what do they say on YouTube? Like, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe. Follow my channel.
Yeah, follow my channel.
Isn't that what Corbin says?
I think so.
Follow my YouTube channel.
Yeah. All right. YPC out.
Ciao now, brown cow.
YPC HQ out. I don't even. The X.